it's Sarah with the Ormond Beach Regional Library, and today on this episode of Volusia Gets Crafty, I'm going to show you how to create the bobble stitch. This is the third texture stitch in our beginner series, and in the end we'll use one of the texture stitches along with our beginner stitches to create this sand dollar coaster. So whenever you're ready, grab a hook and some yarn and let's go get started. Okay, so today we're going to learn how to create the bobble stitch. Now the bobble stitch is very similar to a stitch we done previously in our special stitch series called the cluster stitch. You're going to do this same technique, guys, where you yarn over and you hold the strands on your hook and then you yarn over and go through all of them. But the way we finish it will be a little bit different. So it's going to make the clusters pop into a bobble. So this is what we're going for today. Now it's not difficult, but because of the way that we do it, it will curl significantly, which can be very frustrating. So I'm prepping you in advance. Just have some patience and work with it because it's a really cool stitch if you can just get past the first couple three rows, okay? So we're going to start by creating a slip knot, and we're going to chain a total of 13 chains for our sample size. So yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then kind of like with what our first video with the crocheting in the back loop, we're going to chain one extra, and that's going to be our turning chain. So we won't be doing anything into that first chain. Go into the second one, and we're going to do a single crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through 2. And I bet you know what we're going to do next. We're going to go into the next chain and do another single crochet. All right, and we're going to do a single crochet in each stitch across, and I'll meet you at the end. All right, so I've made my way across the row, and I have 13 single crochets because we did 13 chains. We did that one extra at the end that we ignored and didn't do anything into, so we should have 13 single crochets as we come back to the end. All right, so now we're going to start with our bobble. We're going to chain up 3, and we're going to turn our work. Now the very first bobble is going to go into this very first stitch. Now our chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet. So it is in this first stitch, but remember with the cluster, they all go into the same stitch. So we're going to yarn over and put double crochets in this first space, but we're going to only do part of them, remember? Pull up a loop and pull through 2 and hold it. Now for this first bobble, we want to keep doing this until we get 5 loops on your hook. Pull through only the first 2. Okay, so 4 or 5. And we're going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. It helps once again if you turn your head down so it can go through that tunnel of stitches. All right, now here's your cluster, and this is exactly what we did in our special stitch series. But to make it a texture stitch, instead of chaining 1 to secure it, we're going to go immediately down into the next stitch and create a single crochet. So insert, pull up a loop. Now this one is really short, this one is really high, they're far away. That's okay, you can still do a single crochet with it. So yarn over and pull through both of those loops. You can pull it a little bit if you want to tighten it, but what that is doing is it's pushing all those double crochets forward, and if you flip your work, it's created a bobble on the other side, which is how this works. All right, now for the rest of your row, your bobbles will be a little different from that beginning one because they don't have that chain 3. So your bobbles should have 6 loops on your hook before you pull it through. So go into the next stitch and do a bobble. So yarn over and pull through 2 and hold it. And just keep doing that. Pull through 2 and hold it. And then when you're done, you should have 2, 4, 6 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. And remember, instead of just having a tall cluster, we want to make it buckle out. So we're going to go down to the bottom into this next stitch. We're going to do a single crochet. And however you need to hold it, you guys, to get it through both of those stitches, it's fine. You can see I don't follow typical crochet etiquette. I don't hold my yarn the same way, and it's okay. It's whatever works for you that makes it happen for you. So let's do one more bobble together, and then I'll let you continue on across the row. So yarn over, insert into the next stitch. Remember to get both the loops, guys. We're not working just in the back loops anymore. Full loops. Pull up a loop and go through 2 and hold it. You'll do that until you get 6 loops on your hook. There we go. 2, 4, 6. Yarn over and pull through all of them. And then in the next stitch, you're going to go right into that and do your single crochet. Now I'm going to let you continue to the end, but be mindful. You can see what it's already doing. It's curling. It doesn't like being treated like this, but it's okay. After you get past the first few rows of this bobble stitch, it will calm down, but this first row is a bear. So just keep muscling away, doing a bobble stitch into the next. When you have your 6 loops on your hook, you pull it through all, go into the next one and do your single crochet, and I'll meet you at the very end. Okay, so I've made my way back across the row. I did bobbles and then I did single crochets, and this is what we've ended up with. And I'm holding it this way, you guys, because if I didn't, you would see this lovely little snail that I've got here. It's okay. If you've made it to the end of this row and you didn't give up, congratulations, because it'll be worth it. You'll see. But what we're going to do next is chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. And what we need to do is do a row of single crochets. We need 13 of them, because that's what we had originally, remember? 13 single crochets across this top so that we can do a bobbles again, right? So we've chained 1, and what you can do is you can either look at the tops of the stitches, and you see the longer ones are going to be your bobbles, and the little short V's are your single crochets. So you can put single crochets into each of those stitches, just go underneath both of the loops. Another way you can see those spaces is just by pulling your bobbles apart, and you see there's a couple little eyes. You want to put 1 single crochet in each of those, and that's what I find is easiest, just to pull them apart a little bit. So there's 1, and there's 2, and it's good to count because you want to make sure you've got the right number of single crochets. 3, 4, because if you don't, your bobbles won't line up right. Let's pull these apart here. Find your 2 little eyes. And look at it curling on me, guys. 5, 6. See the eyes? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we need 13, right? So here is where you're going to have to turn it up and see that last little V there. It's okay that you've got all this extra bobble off the end. You just want to get into the top of that stitch and do your 13th. So if you've got your 13, you're good. All right, so now we're going to start with our bobble row. So we're going to chain 3, and we're going to turn our work. Oh, this curly cue. All right, so remember our beginning bobble is a little different from the rest of them because it'll only have the 5 loops on your hook. So yarn over and insert into that very first stitch, pull up a loop and pull through 2. And do that over and over again until you get your 5 loops on your hook. Two, 4, 5. Yarn over and pull through all of them. And then go directly into the next stitch and make your single crochet. Now we're going to do a regular bobble because we don't have that chain 3 at the beginning. So yarn over, insert into the next stitch, pull through 2 and hold, and do that until you get the 6 loops on your hook, and that's how it's going to be for the rest of this row. Two, 4, 6, yarn over, pull through all 6, and then go right down into the next stitch and make your single crochet. So you're going to repeat that all the way across. And then when you reach the end, I'll meet you there. All right, so I've made my way back along the single crochet row, making my bobbles and my single crochets. And here's my last stitch. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. there's your stitch, and then this is the extra overhang of your bobble from the row below. You just want to do one final bobble into this top of this stitch. Get it in there. Remember, we want to go until we get 6 loops on our hook. 2, 4, 6. Yarn over, pull through all of them. So here's where you would chain 1 and turn your work, and you would put a single crochet into each of those little eyes. You would do a single crochet into each of those little eyes all the way across. And remember to count your stitches as you go, because you don't want to forget that very last one that'll be your 13th. And then you just repeat those rows and you'll get your bobble stitch. And it'll look once again like this. And like the front post double crochet waffle stitch video that we did, it is considered a one-sided project. You can see this side doesn't have hardly any texture at all, but this side does. It has tremendous texture. This would be another good one to use as a hot pad because it's nice and thick, so it'd give a nice barrier between a hot pan and your countertop, especially if you have a nice countertop that you don't want to burn or anything. So that would be a good idea for that. Compare it again to our just plain double crochets, you guys. Look at what you can do if you just fiddle with how you combine them and how you stitch them together. You're taking a very simple stitch and you're making a beautiful texture. All right, and once again, if you want to use anything for the kitchen, be sure to use your cotton yarn because this won't burn or warp with heat that's put on it. So Lily Sugar and Cream or Peaches and Cream you can get from Walmart. Those are great options for you, and they come in a lot of nice colors. If you want to make this into a bigger pattern, you just want to chain an odd number of chains and then add 1 at the end, and then it should work out every time if you want to recreate this but in a bigger version. All right, so that is our bobble stitch. I want to thank you for joining me. Up next, we'll get ready to finish this series out with our sand dollar coaster, and I want to thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.